Kratos fights Thor and Odin at the same time in God of War Ragnarok? In the context of the God of War series, especially the God of War Ragnarok installment, the question of whether Kratos is truly holding back against Odin and Thor is deeply intriguing. Throughout his journey, Kratos clearly demonstrates his incredible strength and unparalleled fighting skills, demonstrating his status as a legendary warrior. However, there are moments in the plot and battles that suggest that he may be intentionally holding back from reaching his full potential. These moments not only add to the mystery of Kratos' motives, but also open up questions about the connection between overwhelming power and restraint. One possible reason for this is the marked development in Kratos' character. In previous games, he often expressed rage and used brute force to vent his anger, leading to a series of destruction that had a profound impact on everyone around him. However, by the time of God of War 2018 and its sequel, Kratos has undergone a significant transformation. Now, in the role of Atreus' father, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thank you. Restraint, wisdom, and self-control. This new vision not only shapes the way he faces life, but also affects the way he engages in battles. In particular, against opponents like Thor and Odin, he not only sees them as formidable enemies, but also sees them in a larger context, where stories of family, destiny, and conflict are intricately interwoven. Additionally, Kratos' relationship with Atreus plays a major role in how he approaches battles. He understands that engaging fully in battle could have dire consequences, not only for himself, but also for his son. At several points in the story, Kratos displays protective instincts, prioritizing Atreus' safety and emotional growth over his own desire to fight. This aspect of his character suggests that while he possesses the potential to unleash devastating power, he chooses a more moderate approach, especially in situations where the stakes are high for his family. In the course of Kratos' confrontations with Thor and Odin also reflects the consequences of one's actions. Odin, as the Allfather, represents a complex antagonist whose motivations are intertwined with the larger mythology. In terms of mystery, Odin ends up becoming the kindly god. Kratos realizes that defeating Odin is more than just physical strength, but rather an understanding of his deception and manipulation. By holding back, Kratos may be seeking to outwit rather than overpower his enemies, suggesting a strategic mindset rather than pure brute strength. As for the idea that Kratos could solo verse, it is necessary to consider the context of divine powers in the Norse pantheon. Kratos, being a god himself, certainly possesses immense strength, combat skills, and resilience. However, characters like Thor and Odin are also extremely powerful, possessing their own unique abilities and knowledge. The concept of solo implies a simple victory, but given the complexity of each character's strengths and weaknesses, if Kratos were to face both Thor and Odin at the same time, especially without backup, the chances of him being defeated are very high. Although Kratos and Thor are considered to be roughly equal in strength, with Kratos having the upper hand in terms of power, their battles are always extremely tense, and often built on a one-on-one basis. Both characters are considered worthy opponents, representing equal strength and will, making each match a balanced confrontation. If faced with two powerful enemies at the same time, Kratos would be put at a severe disadvantage, as even a small difference in power could decide the outcome of the fight. Odin, the supreme god in Norse mythology, almost certainly surpasses Kratos in overall strength. In order to defeat him, it would take the combined efforts of Kratos, Freya, and Atreus, a clear testament to Odin's superior stature. Even when working together, they cannot destroy him directly, so they resort to a more subtle method, sealing his spirit in a magical orb. While Odin does not have the usual characteristics of a fighting god in the God of War series, he is still considered one of the most powerful beings, not only because of his physical strength, but also because of his superior intelligence, cunning, and manipulation. Kratos is a complex and fascinating character, whose power and influence are difficult to measure. In the past, he single-handedly destroyed Olympus and destroyed the Pantheon, an act that was far beyond normal standards, demonstrating rage and power beyond control. However, since the series reboot, we have seen a different version of Kratos. He is more mature, more restrained, focused on controlling himself, and avoiding letting his power completely control him. However, there are rare moments when his old anger shows through, and then it is very possible that he will definitely lose, or try to convince Thor to fight against Odin and simply have the motive to buy time. In addition, he will definitely lose, as Kratos, when in his best physical condition for a while, needs the help of Atreus and Freya to fight Odin. Although Kratos fought Odin in the first phase, before Freya intervened with only Atreus. If Kratos does indeed convince Thor, then we'll essentially have Kratos and a warrior near Kratos' level fighting Odin. So that means Odin is likely to be extremely outgunned in an active battle, with the same outcome if Odin fights Kratos and Freya first, as Freya was the leader of the Vanir in the war against Asgard and Odin, with Mimir even declaring her to be Odin's most dangerous enemy. As the true queen of the Valkyries, and as such, she should be superior to Sigrun. As such, She should be superior to Sigrid. Supposedly, Kratos is equal in every metric, with Kratos himself claiming that he couldn't imagine a more formidable ally than Thor. Could also be a better fighter than the original game here, as he would have to exert much less effort thanks to his father's help. While during this time, as in my last God of War answer, Thor is canonically poisoned at this point, having just outwitted Jormungandr and sent him back in time with a single blow. But Zeus is the supreme ruler of all the Greek gods, and it is said that his power is the greatest of all the Greek gods, including his brothers Hades and Poseidon, which would put him above Kronos, the creator of time. He could take down Gaia with one blow. Gaia is the symbol of Greece, and yes, I just said Gaia only represents Greece and not the entire planet. We know this because in the canon comics, Kratos traveled to Egypt. Egypt was not affected by the destruction of the world because Kratos' massacre only affected Greece and nothing else. The Greek gods only lived in Greece, the Egyptian gods only lived in Egypt, and the Norse gods only lived in Scandinavia, just to make that clear. And he is above the primordials, whose battles shaped the entire universe. Odin can fight on par with Kratos, even overpowering him at times. He recovers from Kratos' ice axe while Thor is slashed hard in the stomach for the rest of the game. He is arguably the most cunning and formidable villain the series has ever faced, and is a nightmare scenario for Kratos. This is one of the reasons I believe people don't think of Odin as powerful, or at least not on the same level as someone like Zeus. He just doesn't have enough feats. Well, he does. Kratos himself has confirmed that the Black Breath is the most powerful spell he has ever encountered. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon and turn on notifications to see the earliest videos. Thanks. Odin possesses the ability to cast a spell so powerful that he was able to trap Freya, the goddess who taught him magic in Midgard. Even Kratos, a veteran warrior, acknowledged the extraordinary power of this spell. This shows that Odin is superior to Thor, who Kratos has confirmed to have struck him with the strongest blows he has ever endured. Start this morning. While Odin may not have had as many exploits as Zeus, Kratos, as the most reliable source of information, has confirmed that Thor, even when restrained, is on par with Zeus. At the same time, Kratos himself has acknowledged that Odin surpasses every opponent he has ever faced, both in strength and in danger. Thor is wise enough to recognize when an opponent is too powerful and dangerous for him to face alone. This is exactly the case with Starcade. However, his confidence and fighting spirit are not shaken, as he decides to face Kratos again, even after the brutal blow he received. There is clearly a balance of power between Thor and Kratos, with no significant difference. Meanwhile, Odin, although physically weaker than the two, possesses extremely powerful magic. To overcome him, it takes the coordination and determination of Kratos, Atreus, and Freya. In the end, victory only comes thanks to the perfect combination of skill, intelligence, and solidarity of the whole team. It cannot be ignored that Zeus is capable of destroying all the characters in the story, except Kratos, thanks to the power of hope, and Athena, who has ascended to a higher realm of existence. In God of War 2, Kratos possesses superior power enough to challenge the Allfather and some superiors. The version of Kratos in God of War 3 is even more impressive, with an arsenal of 11 weapons, notably the Blade of Olympus, which can defeat Odin instantly. Odin's best strategy in this situation is to distract Kratos so he can escape. Otherwise, he will face death. As for Thor, he has proven himself to be a formidable warrior, surpassing his two sons, Magni and Modai. Both possess incredible strength, having lifted a giant that no other god could move. Meaning that, however, Thor was unable to complete the same challenge, but the reason was simply because he was in a drunken state. Kratos has admitted that Thor possesses superior strength, stronger than any opponent he has faced before. This is clearly demonstrated in their first fight, where Thor even held back his power. So it can be said that Thor possesses physical strength that surpasses any god in Norse and Greek mythology. But furthermore, Thor is capable of striking so hard that he can send the world serpent back in time. An important point to note is that in the fight between Thor and Jormungandr, it is Thor who initiates the attack and controls the battle. If you watch closely, you can see that the world serpent only lunges forward with the intention of biting Thor, while Thor skillfully dodges and counterattacks directly. But on the other hand, if Thor fails to initiate the attack, he can still bite Thor, while Thor skillfully dodges and counterattacks directly. This suggests that it was Thor who caused the world tree to shake during their confrontation, further confirming his superior strength. And they also have their own timelines, since at least 30 minutes or less or even more have passed while Kratos is in Helheim, while only a few seconds have passed in Midgard. So it's really impossible for all 9 realms to feel the war at the same time, but it still happens. Yes, God of War Thor is pretty strong. As for Starko, later on, he seems to be the Norse version of Atlas, the most powerful titan in Greek mythology, so strong that even Thor and Odin didn't touch him, until they gathered the armies of 3 kingdoms to defeat him at once. Even though Thor never actually fought the giant, he was still strong enough to rip off 6 of his 8 arms and leave him for dead. Even if we look at it metaphysically, it's quite a ritual for each God of War installment to start with a moment of humility or a lowering of the protagonist's power. The fact that Ragnaphon and Crater have so much in common is maybe what gives the stories so much to be learned from, because Ragnaphon and Crater, whether it's Zeus killing him or falling into the river Styx, Kratos has a habit of being defeated and starting a new game with a new set of abilities. And since it would be a terrible scenario for Kratos to humiliate Thor early in the next game, I believe that Thor will not only defeat Kratos, but also kill him. Wouldn't it be more interesting to imagine the God of War and the God of Thunder clashing in an epic battle instead of trampling one side? Well, so I really don't doubt Thor's chances in the upcoming game. The guy wants to fight Kratos, not only to prove his superiority, but also to avenge Magni, and when Thor is killed, he will deserve all the pain that comes with it. What do you guys think about this fight? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all very much.